Hey, my name is Melinda Russell, and I am obsessed with telling the stories of women involved in motorsports, young and older, from all walks of life, currently involved in a wide range of roles or sharing their stories from the past. I'm a wife, mother of four adult children, and a mama of 16. In 2017, I was searching social media for a group dedicated to women in motorsports. When I didn't find what I was looking for, I posted a message to a few racing pages to see if any women would like to connect with me. And now I have thousands of women and men who are part of the Women's Motorsports Network. As crew chief of the only media company dedicated to women in motorsports, I work from wherever my travels take me, publishing this podcast, the Women's Motorsports Network News online magazine, and Let's Talk Racing Live, my social media show. You will hear from women who share their stories from the grid of life, how they manage the messy and memorable moments of family, work, and racing. You will hear their tried and true secrets of success and many other topics like friendships, family, hardships, and heroes that women deal with to balance the seasons of life. So grab your favorite beverage, pull up a seat, make sure you are comfy, and get ready to be inspired and encouraged from the stories on the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guest today is Alissa Wilson. Good morning. I guess it's afternoon, Alissa. Good afternoon, Alissa. How's your day going?
Pretty good.
Okay, good. Well, I usually start my interviews by having you tell the audience a little bit about yourself. So, why don't you share about your family, your pets, anything that you're comfortable sharing?
My name is Alissa Wilson. I live in Burton, Michigan. It's like right by Flint.
Mhm.
I have a dog named Apollo. He's one. I have a cat that's 15. Her name's Peaches. I have two turtles. I have three sisters. They're all older. Um, and I live with my mom and dad.
Okay. So, you're the youngest in the family?
Well, I'm an only child for my dad.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay. All right. And so, do you have anything that's unusual, something maybe that people don't know about you?
um, I have an eating disorder, but like most people know that.
Okay. All right. And how about hobbies or anything other than racing?
I mean,
Do you craft? Do you play softball? Or
I
is
don't
race?
really do any sports like sports, but
Okay.
I like sometimes I'll like play like volleyball and like I'll go to the beach with my friends and stuff like
Okay.
that.
All right. That sounds fun. So let's get right into it. How did you get interested in motorsports?
So, sorry.
That's all right.
When I was like I'd say 7 or 8, I don't know. I just always had this thing for like riding cars. And the thing that was like, most like similar to cars was go-karts. So we went to this place in Clio called Extreme Indoor Kart Racing, and we went there and we got put in a two-seater. I was like 8, and we went there. I had a good time, and then we made the decision that I wanted to race, and then we went back like a couple months later, and I was trying to drift like my dad, and I ended up going full on head onto the wall. My helmet flew off. I got two
Hmm.
black eyes, and
Hi.
so we had to go home. And my dad's like, "You still want to race?" I'm like, "Yep, I still want to race." So
That didn't stop you, did it?
no, and then we met this guy named AJ Thompson, No Limit Carts and Parts, and we went out to his house because I got a go kart for Christmas. So we took the go kart out there, and it's where it all started. And then we got sponsors and stuff like that.
So you got sponsors. So tell me, how did you go about that? Because that's one of the most difficult things for any race car driver to get. So was it people that you knew, your family? How did you go about getting sponsors?
My dad gets this his haircut at this place called Fenner's. So he seen us the morning because It was July 13th of 2019. It was my first ever go-kart race. I remember we had to wake up really early and we had to go get the go-kart the same day that my first race was. We had to come home and do everything for it. And we seen Fenner and we told him we were going to get the go-kart and he told me he would sponsor me, so we didn't really have to ask him. And then my dad's really good best friend, well, he's passed away now, but he kind of helped us with like a couple of places with sponsors and stuff like that. So he kind of just told us like, hey, you should ask them if they sponsor you. We'd go up there, tell them about us, tell them that I raced, and we just asked them, and then they would
Yeah.
sponsor us or they wouldn't.
Right.
And then we go to this thing called Back to the Bricks. We went this year and we got, I think, around 5 new sponsors.
Okay.
So, because we took
Yeah.
the go kart up there and advertised it and stuff like that.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is you asked, and that's the thing. You have to put yourself out there so that people know that you're a race car driver, and then you just ask, and you can't be tied to the outcome. Either they say yes or they say no, and then you move on to the next person. So I like that you have a good attitude about that because you just have to do what you can, and it sounds like you did pretty good asking. So that's great. So tell me about your car. What color is it? What number is it? How did you choose your number?
I was 8 and I like double eights. I had no clue it was Dale Earnhardt or Dale Jarrett, like no clue. I just like double eight, so I did double eight. So my number is 88. My first, I have two go karts. The first one was red, white, and blue because I had a red, white, and blue helmet. And then we got a second body, which was neon yellow, and it had had like teal numbers. And then the one that we just most recently did, we got our first go kart wrap. This was our first time getting a wrap. Was this year. Um, so we got red, white, and blue.
Okay. All right. I love red, white, and blue. There's nothing more patriotic and goes with racing than red, white, and blue for sure.
Yeah.
So so who helps you? I'm sure your dad's involved, but are you hands on doing things with your cart, or who helps you? Do you have a pit crew? Tell me about them.
Um, I help like whatever my dad needs help with. I call them my racing parents. We're like really close with them. They're like right next to us. So they always help us. Like his name's Matt. There's Matt, Jessica, Landon, and Bentley. Landon and Bentley are the two kids. And then Matt and Jessica are the mom and dad. And they have like their grandparents there and stuff like that. So we're kind of like our own little like pit crew. Like we're like combined.
Okay.
So normally Matt and Dad are doing their own thing to the go kart. Like if something goes wrong, Matt and Dad are always doing it, and then like I'll help my dad with like the little stuff, like whatever he needs. But
Okay. And that's a good way to learn, isn't it?
mhm.
Yeah, it's a good way to learn. So, have you had what kind of finishes have you had? Are you first of all, what year did you start racing? I might have missed that. How old were you?
I was I think I just was getting ready to turn 9, so I think I was 8. I was either 8 or 9.
Okay, and how old are you now?
15.
Okay, so you've been racing a while, six
Yeah.
years or so. Yeah. Okay, so um, in that length of time, what would you say has been your biggest success and your biggest challenge?
I would say my biggest challenge is like sometimes I get like scared to like pass people because like I'm scared I'll like spin out and stuff like that. Or like sometimes like my dad like he'll be like a little hard on me, like not like hard, but like he'll want me to win, and
Yeah.
like it kind of like gets in my head a little bit, but like I try not to let it get in my head.
Yeah.
So, but the most success, I broke my thumb playing volleyball, so I raced with the cast, and that was the best race I've ever had in my racing career.
Really?
Yeah, I got first in qualifying, first in the first race, first in the second race, and second in the feature. And we got second in the feature because um the other kid that like there was like 5 other kids in the class, but Micah, the track owner's grandson, me and him were like up front like competing against each other, so He
Yeah.
changed his gear and we didn't know, so that was the
Okay.
reason that he got in front of me.
Well, that's okay. You just learn, don't you? You just learn how to manage all those situations for sure. So,
Mhm.
do you have a most memorable moment in your career so far?
Probably racing with the cast.
Yeah, yeah, probably so for sure. So, what's your favorite part about being involved in motorsports?
Um, just like everything really, just like being with other people, just being with other people, like just communicating. My racing family means everything to me.
Yeah, it's the people, isn't it? It's not just the racing. It's all
No,
those.
it's the people.
Yeah, it really is. That's for sure. So, have you noticed that being a girl involved in motorsports, have you had any problems because you're a girl, or do they just treat you the same as anybody else?
For sure had problems.
Yeah. So, for instance,
Oh, um,
do they
I
get
feel
mad when you win or you beat them, or do what kind
I
of problems do they cause you?
I feel like if I beat like a boy or something, they always have an excuse. Like they never like. No offense to the boys. The boys are really good at racing. Don't get me wrong, but I
Right.
feel like if a girl beats them, they always have to have an excuse as to why you won. It's never like you won because you won. They
Yeah.
lost and you beat them because their
Their
chain
car,
fell
yeah,
off
or
or
their car broke or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
they always have an excuse.
Yeah. I can see that. I see that from little kids all the way up to grown people who should know better. So that's absolutely true. So what would you say there's any benefit to being a girl in racing? Do you get more attention because you're a girl or not really?
um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like kind of like when people come to watch, like they like kind of like focus on the girls more because like we were just talking about it. Like the girls, like there's not really a lot of girls in the racing industry, so that's why we want to try to get like more girls in the racing industry to realize like, girls can do like anything boys can do, girls can do. That's
Right. Right. Absolutely. So are there a lot of girls that race against you or is it mostly boys?
There's only one other girl that races against me.
Okay. All right. And are the two of you kind of friends and kind of stick together on things?
We don't really talk. We only talk really at racing, but we don't
Okay.
really talk outside of racing, no.
Okay. All right. So, what would you say your goal is? So you race go-karts. I
Mhm.
almost said quarter midgets. My granddaughters race quarter midgets, so I have to make myself say go-karts. So, what's kind of your goal for this coming year? 2025 is going to be here in a couple days. What's your goal for racing for the coming up year?
Um, I would say just to at least get like a better cuz the best I've done is third place track champion.
Okay.
So this year I'd like to get at least first or second. I'd like to at least just like get a couple of feature wins.
Yeah. That's always the goal, right? Is to try to improve and then try to get a win for sure. Yeah. So, do you have littler kids? Because you're 15, so younger girls or even boys that look up to you or come up to you or watch you. As far as you showing them kind of how to do things or give them advice.
Um there's this boy named Ace. We always talk to him sometimes. He's 5 or 6, something like that.
Okay.
And then our pit crew, the next door, Matt and Jessica, their nephew, Finley, he like always talks to me and we talk to him
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Okay. That's good. That's good because even if you don't know that they're watching, there are probably people watching, don't you think?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So one thing I usually ask is, racing takes up a lot of time, and especially on the weekends. You're not going to the movie with your friends or playing softball or doing some of those things. So, do you feel like, your friends understand that you're going to be at the racetrack, or how does your kind of social life fit in with racing?
Um, to be honest, it doesn't really like bother it. Sometimes I take some of my friends to the races with me,
Okay.
so just so they can like see like, cause like a lot of people at my school know, but like I like to actually take some of my friends so they can see like here like when you ask me to hang out and I say no and I tell you I'm racing, this is what I'm doing. Cause
Right.
like a lot of people don't think like, cause like my sister and like people like that, like they don't realize like it's literally like a all day kind of thing. It's not just like a couple hours. It's like a all day thing.
Right.
Like
Right.
you're there from like early after or like early afternoon to literally night.
Yeah. Or you could be there from morning till night. By the time you get up, get your car ready, get to the track, do your practicing and do all the things, and then do the racing. And then, sometimes it takes a long time if there's a lot of accidents and there's a lot, So I think people don't really realize the time commitment maybe that you have, for the racing for sure. So, do you use social media to promote your racing? And if so, are you on TikTok? Are you on Facebook? What do you use?
Um, I try to I've tried to like do it, but like I never can like keep up with it. But my dad always posts like how the like race went, like every single individual race.
Okay.
So then I'll share it or like I'll make my own post on my Facebook and like show and stuff like that.
Okay. So how would somebody follow you on Facebook to follow your racing? Is it your name or what is it?
It's my name. It's Alissa Wilson. Or they can add my dad,
Okay. And what's your dad's name?
Richard Wilson.
Richard Wilson or Alissa. It's Alissa, because
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa is spelled 100 different ways.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Alissa Wilson or Richard Wilson. So yeah. Um, if somebody came up to you, a mom with maybe a son or daughter, let's say a daughter, came up to you and said, Alissa, my daughter thinks she wants to start racing. What would be your advice to the mom and the daughter?
I would tell them that they definitely are gonna need lots. Well, I mean, it depends. Like, it's definitely a lot of money to get into. It's definitely not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like hard. Like, I would just tell them to like try to get like sponsors and like ask people around their community like to help with like sponsors and tell them like I want to get into go kart racing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would give them AJ's name because AJ's really been like helpful, and he also sponsors you like
Yeah.
if you take your go kart there and stuff like that. Like he'll take money off your first time.
Okay. So where do you typically race? At the same track all the time, or do you travel?
We race at the same one,
Okay. And where is that?
Arthur Raceway in Reese, Michigan.
Yeah.
It's behind DHT Trucking, DHT headquarters,
Yeah.
DHT Trucking.
Right. It's a fairly well known track here in Michigan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because a lot of younger people that I know race there for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. So so when you got interested in the go kart, how did your mom feel about you racing?
um, my mom was like a little like nervous. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, the first couple of times when she wanted to come watch me, she was nervous. But when she got to see that like I knew how to drive and stuff like that,
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
was kind of like whatever, like she was fine with it. But my I feel like my grandma's the one that like we definitely have to worry about cuz like she's
Okay.
like she gets really scared. Like if I spin out, she'll start freaking out.
Yeah. Well,
So,
when you're a grandma, you got a different feeling about that kid. So
yeah.
I have 16 grandchildren, Alissa. So I can understand how your grandma feels. But she probably has watched you enough, don't you think, that she realizes you are able to drive the cart and that you do know what you're doing most of the time at least. And so,
For sure.
yeah. And I'm sure she comes to watch you as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, are you going to drive the same cart this year? And what class do you drive in? Do you have different classes in go karting?
Um, they have different classes at the track that we race at. Um, we're gonna try. I mean, we want to get a new go kart this year. It depends on how much we have for sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we got new sponsors this year, so it just all kind of depends on like
Right.
how much we get
Yeah.
and what we have to do. Cause you know, yeah,
It's not cheap.
we want to get a new trailer because our trailer is like really like small. It doesn't really have a lot of space. Like we just
Okay.
it's too like like claustrophobic. Like it just needs
Yeah.
more space.
Yeah. Well, and it's all in good time. It takes when you get the go kart and you get started and you get some sponsors, and then your name starts to get familiar with people, and then you get a few more sponsors, and that's how you grow yourself and your race team is by putting yourself out there, doing a podcast like this that you can share with potential sponsors, and yeah, and I know that you're a fair and good racer because I've heard that about you. So that's something that sponsors want to know. They want to know that they're sponsoring someone that is good on the racetrack and is a good person that doesn't, throw a fit if something goes wrong or whatever. And so um, that's a good thing too. That you have a good character and people see that. So that's always good. What grade are you in school, Alyssa?
10th.
10th grade. And so you got a couple more years before you graduate. Do you have any thoughts on what you want to do after high school?
Next year, GCI, I want to do. I'm gonna become EMT, and then once I get my EMT license, I'm gonna take it to the jail, and then they said that they'll pay for my scoring to become a cop. So I'm gonna become a cop and an EMT.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'm glad to hear that. That's good. Did somebody influence you that way, or you just have always been interested in that?
I would just, I mean, I would guess you could say, yeah, somebody influenced me to do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. We need more people that care about taking care of us. And so that's a job where you take care of people and help them. And so that's a good career to get started in for sure.
hmm
Yeah. So is there anything I haven't asked you about that we should have talked about yourself or your racing career?
Not really, not that I can think of.
Not really. So when does your racing start this year?
I sometimes it starts at the beginning or end of May, but it always starts sometime in May.
Yeah, because we have to wait for the snow to go away, don't we, when we live in Michigan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it has to warm up a little bit for sure. And then, oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. I don't know. Anyway, it'll come back to me. So I sent you a list of, and I'm not sure if you saw it, but I like to ask people some of their favorites. And so I'm going to ask you some of what your favorites are and just a quick answer. So you
Okay.
have to it's like rapid fire questions. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
McDonald's fries.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty good. Your favorite color?
Um, Teal.
Your favorite animal?
My dog.
And what's his name?
Apollo.
Oh, and what kind of dog is it?
We don't know. Somebody left him in our ditch last year, so
Oh,
when
so
he
he's
was
a rescue.
yeah, he's sleeping right here next to me.
Oh, that's so sweet. Is he a big dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a little dog. I have a Shih Tzu. He weighs 11 pounds. So he's tiny, but he's my best friend too. I love my dog. So, where's your favorite place to go on vacation? Somewhere you'd like to go or somewhere that you've been that you'd like to go back to?
Um, Probably
Okay. All right.
or
Favorite?
Ohio.
Okay. what do you do when you go to Ohio? Is that like oh, there's a theme park there.
My sister lives there, so
Okay.
whenever we go there, we always go see her. But in March we went to Kalahari.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Yeah. So how about your favorite candy or snack?
I don't really have a favorite candy or a favorite snack.
Do you like candy or you just could care less about it?
I could care less.
Okay, that's good. Good for your teeth. Do you have a favorite racetrack?
Arthur.
Arthur, or is there a racetrack that you'd like to race at someday?
I don't really know that many around here.
Yeah. Arthur's a pretty good place to race, isn't it?
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a favorite type of music?
I would say either country or like old rap.
Oh, nice. How about a favorite sports team other than a race team?
Lions.
No, you got to be a Lions fan, don't you?
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so Alyssa, today is my birthday.
Happy
And
birthday.
thank you. And my big thing for what I wanted to do on my birthday, we're going to order pizza and we're going to watch the Lions beat San Francisco tonight. So, I'm getting old. I don't get real excited about birthdays anymore, but that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be eating pizza and watching the Lions for sure. Do you have a favorite professional race car driver? Or even somebody that races wouldn't have to be, professional. It could be somebody that races, locally where you go to the races.
Haley Deegan.
Okay. Good choice. Good choice. How about a favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Yeah, we just had that, didn't we? We're recovering from Christmas. Do you have a favorite TV show?
There's a lot. There I watch Chicago PD, The Rookie, Virgin River, Chicago Med.
Yeah, lots of the same ones that I watch for sure. How about a favorite movie?
Unhinged.
Unhinged. I've not heard of that movie. Okay,
It's really good.
I'm gonna have to Google that. And a favorite thing that you want to celebrate?
Racing, like the end of the year banquets.
Okay, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing because it's always fun to see, like kind of a capture the whole season and how did it all go. Some days are good, some days are bad, but overall, when you go to the banquet, you can kind of put that all in perspective and say, I had a really good season, and I'm really lucky that I get to do this, right? Because every kid doesn't get to race, and so
Right.
that's really good. Is there anybody that you want to mention or thank for helping you? Like you mentioned the people that, pit crew next to you. Is there anybody else, any sponsors or anybody that you want to mention?
Tony and Barbara Goff, Fenner, Instalube, my mom and dad,
Yeah, of course.
No Limit Carts and Parts, Matt and Jessica Collins, Chris Fitzpatrick, Dave Hasselbeck, and that's all that I can think of on the top
Okay.
of my head.
Well, that's good. You thought of a lot of them, so they must be important to you because we can't do it without them, can we?
No.
It's important for sure to have people that support us, not just our family, but also those sponsors for sure. So we know how to follow you on social media. We're going to do that. I'm going to mention to you that if you want to make sure you stay in my feed, to tag Women's Motorsports Network, because that way whatever you post will come up and I'll see it, because I get so many posts that I might miss, like when you race, what you're doing. So make sure you tag Women's Motorsports Network when you post things about your racing. And anything else, last chance, anything else that you want to share or say before we close out?
No.
No, it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Oh, that's awesome. Alyssa, I know you've been sick, you've had a bad cough. And so I appreciate that you still wanted to be on the podcast today. And I really enjoyed meeting you one day here soon, I'm going to meet you face to face, because Arthur is on my list of tracks that I want to get to this summer. There's several girls that race there that I want to come and watch race. And so you're one of them. So I'm going to try to do that one day this summer. I live in Kalamazoo, so it's not terribly far to come and visit and see what you're doing. So thanks again. Hope you have a great new year. We've only got a couple days left of the year, and we'll be in 2025. I can't believe it. I don't know where this year went, but it was fun because we had a lot of racing, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks again for being on the podcast. And if you'll hold on here for a minute while I end the recording, just stay tuned and I'll be back with you just a second.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. Subscribe to my show and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you or someone you know would like to be featured in the Women's Motorsports Network News online magazine, this podcast, or Let's Talk Racing Live, my social media show, contact me via Messenger on Facebook at Melinda Russell, or send me an email at womensmotorsportsnetwork@gmail.com.